The secret history of their campaign that saved the 2020 election. Holy fuck. I've been sitting on this for a couple of days now, and I don't know what the fuck to make of it. So what I've decided to do is add this to my theory that we are now living in a post-conspiracy theory world, and we are now living in a conspiracy reality world. This idea was first posed by JP. If you don't know who that is, I'll link him down below. Go watch his channel. He's a fucking genius. So the proposition is that we now live in a world that has more conspiracy reality than it does conspiracy theories. Now you can go watch my previous video where I talked about some of these things that help make this statement realized. What I've got today is adding to that even more. This, I don't even know what the fuck this is to start off with. This is literally people bragging about fixing the election. Now, Eric Weinstein made this point in a few videos back that the game is not broken, the game is fixed. We've now seen this with the hit on Wall Street, and we're now seeing this with this article here. So let's fucking go through it and have a fucking read of it. This is insane, all right? So it's the secret history of the shadow campaign that saved the 2020 election. What the fuck? Okay, so they're bragging about it. They're bragging about it. A weird thing happened after the November 3rd election. Nothing. The nation was braced for chaos. Liberal groups had vowed to take to the streets, planning hundreds of protests across the country. Right-wing militias were girding for battle. In a poll before Election Day, 75% of Americans voiced concerns about violence. Instead, an eerie quiet descended. As President Trump refused to concede, the response was not mass action, but crickets. When media organizations called the race for Joe Biden on November 7th, jubilation broke out instead. So then it goes to paint on this fucking bullshit. I'm not even going to bother reading this because it's just fucking ridiculous. And then it goes on to say this. A second odd thing happened amid Trump's attempts to reverse the result. Corporate America turned on him. Hundreds of major business leaders, many of whom had backed Trump's candidacy and supported his policy, called on him to concede. To the president, something felt amiss. It was all very, very strange, Trump said on December 2nd. With days after the election, we witnessed an orchestrated effort to anoint the winner, even while many key states were still being counted. In a way, Trump was right. This, I don't think you fucking people understand this. This is time.com. Time.com. Trump was right. I'm not bullshitting this. I'm not bullshitting this. This is right here. This is right here. I'm reading this from Time magazine. I'll keep going, because it gets way fucking worse than this. Way fucking worse than this. They're literally admitting to a conspiracy being successful. I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up. I can't stress this enough to you all. I'm not making this up. This is all fucking real. There was a conspiracy unfolding behind the scenes. Again, this is Time magazine. One that both curtailed the protests and coordinated the resistance from CEOs. Both surprises were the result of an informal alliance between left-wing activists and business titans. I can't, like, I've said this, I'm going to say it again. I am not making this up. This is officially published on time.com. Go to time.com and look for Secret 2020 Election Campaign. Read it for yourself. This is fucking nuts. Both surprises were the result of an informal alliance between left-wing activists and business titans. The pact was formalized in a terse, little-noticed joint statement of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, which is not a wing of the US government, that is a private company, and AFL-CIO published on Election Day. Both sides would come to see it as part of an implicit bargain, inspired by the summer's massive, sometimes destructive, racial justice protests, in which the forces of labor came together with the forces of capital to keep the peace and oppose Trump's assault on democracy. Now, what they mean by Trump's assault on democracy is literally Trump winning the election with the most amount of votes. That's what that means, according to these guys. This is literally what that fucking sentence right there fucking means. The handshake between business and labor was just one component of a vast cross-partisan campaign to protect the election. To protect the election. An extraordinary shadow effort dedicated not to winning the vote, but to ensuring it would be free and fair. Righto. Credible and uncorruptible. Yeah, righto. For more than a year, a loosely organized coalition of operatives scrambled to shore up America's institutions as they came under simultaneous attack from a remorseful pandemic and an autocratically inclined president. Though much of this activity took place on the left, it was separate from the Biden campaign and crossed ideological lines with crucial contributions by non-partisan and conservative actors. The scenario the shadow campaigners were desperate to stop was not a Trump victory. It was an election so calamitous that no result could be discerned at all. A failure of central act of democratic self-governance that has been a hallmark of America since its founding. Fuck, I hope you're ready for this. I hope you are ready for this. Their work touched every aspect of the election. They got states to change voting systems and laws and helped secure hundreds of millions in public and private funding. They fended off voter suppression lawsuits, recruited armies of poll workers, and got millions of people to vote by mail for the first time. They successfully pressured social media companies to take a harder line against disinformation and used data-driven strategies to fight viral smears. Righto, that's what we're calling it. They executed national public awareness campaigns that helped Americans understand how the vote count would unfold over days or weeks, preventing Trump's conspiracy theories and false claims of victory from getting more traction. After Election Day, they monitored every pressure point to ensure that Trump could not overturn the result. The untold story of the election is the thousands of people of both parties who accomplished the triumph of American democracy at its very foundation. My God. They aren't even trying to cover this shit up. They are literally saying this in fucking broad daylight. They don't give a fuck. This is no longer a conspiracy theory. They are literally admitting to it, and nobody, what the fuck has been the response since this came out? I was waiting for the fucking riots on the street. Nothing. What the fuck? Every week, we felt like we were in a struggle to try to pull off this election without the country going through a real dangerous moment of unraveling. Wow. Not a single word here is being made up. I'm literally reading from the fucking page of these motherfuckers admitting to fixing the fucking election. My God. This is the inside story of the conspiracy. They're literally calling it a conspiracy to save the 2020 election based on access to the group's inner workings, never before seen documents and interviews with dozens of those involved from across the political spectrum. It is the story of an unprecedented, creative and determined campaign whose success also reveals how close the nation came to disaster. That meaning Trump winning again. Every attempt to interfere with the proper outcome of the election was defeated, says Ayan Basin. My fucking God. Co-founder of Protect Democracy, a non-partisan rule of law advocacy group. But, quote, but it's massively important for the country to understand that it didn't happen accidentally. The system didn't work magically. Democracy is not self-executing. Now it's about to get off the fucking hook. If it wasn't prior, now it's about to be unraveled completely. Take a fucking seat and listen to this shit. That's why the participants want the secret history of the 2020 election told. Even though it sounds like a paranoid fever dream, a well-funded cabal of powerful people ranging across industries and ideologies working together behind the scenes to influence perceptions, change rules and laws, steer media coverage, and control the flow of information. They were not rigging the election. They were fortifying it. And they believe the public needs to understand the system's fragility in order to ensure that democracy in America endures. What the fuck? What the fuck? A well-funded cabal of powerful people. What the fuck, man? What the fuck? My God, this just keeps going and going and going. Please, they name names in this article. They give out all of the fucking information. I'm going to link this down below. Please go and read this entire thing. I don't have the time to do it now, but fuck me. Please go and read this. This shit is the craziest fucking crap I have ever fucking read. Like, what the fuck, man? What the actual fuck? They're literally admitting to fixing the election behind the scenes, and they're bragging about it on Time magazine. Literally in front of everyone. Who the fuck is not going to see this article? And they're bragging about it. My fucking God, people. My fucking God. It is literally a post-conspiracy world that we are now living in. This is nuts. This is genuinely nuts. All right, stay tuned for more. I'm going to be releasing an article, the Eric Weinstein, where he is talking about this very thing of using one word when the meaning is another. So stay tuned for that. I'll be releasing that very soon. I hope you all enjoy it. Alrighty, thanks for watching. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share it around. Catch you all in the next one. Bye!